You
What
need more.
advice would you go back and give yourself if you could go back 10 years and talk to Kenny from 10 years ago? What would you tell Kenny?
First thing I would say is I would say yes more. Because there's so many opportunities to say yes to things that people mention, whether that's going out with certain people, going to do this, going to do that, pitching to help with this. And there's a lot of good things that can happen just by saying yes and encouraging yourself to try something that's outside of your comfort zone. And you never know, unless it's illegal or unethical, that doesn't jibe with who you are inside. Most of the time, if someone invites you to do something, or if there's an opportunity to go after something that might be outside of your norm, a lot of good things can happen. Even things you don't anticipate. You might meet someone who's useful for something other, or something you might work on in the future. You might find out there's certain things you like about yourself or things you want to change just by throwing yourself into a new environment. So I would definitely say yes more. That's one. Second, I would say, and this goes along with our general underlying theme of this conversation about the importance of Christ in life, I would try to get aligned with Christ sooner. And I've always been a Christian in some regard, but learning more about what it entails, like edifying your spirit, man, learning more about how you can put, as you just mentioned, in different terms, how you can put that inner voice to use that could be used to bring you through and bring you to things you need to go into, because God's the author of all things perfect. So the sooner you get aligned with his will, the better. And if I had found a way to learn some of what I knew now, or just to, this is where I'm saying yes, some things might have been more useful, just to have encountered certain people and opportunities that would have gotten me on that path sooner, that would be something I would say, you need to focus on doing this now, because God's got all the answers. You got a lot of questions. And the sooner you get aligned with him, the faster those answers are going to come to you. So I would say those are two things I would have told younger Kenny to get on faster.
And, the thing I would say is that whether it's Christianity or Judaism or even Islam, the reality is it's all the same God. And the scholars in all three of those religions acknowledge it being the same God. So the same teachings really apply across the board. And we've got to get away from thinking that ours is better than theirs, or somebody else says ours is better than yours. It's all the same God, folks.
I would counter this and say that the same God exists, but the manner in which he's described in other religions is,
well, there is some of that.
Yeah.
But it is still the same God. And the reality is, I think people can get to the same place if they would put the teachings in place that allow them to listen to that inner voice. And that's really the ultimate thing still.
Yeah, I think to the extent that the inner voice led you to Christ, that's the key thing. Because I think the key element missing in other religions is Christ. And that's the essential element that not only ensures eternal life, but your best life on earth now. So I would say, as long as the Christ element is there, that's the key thing. If there's no Christ element, it's harsh to say, but there's a lot of time wasted there if there's no Christ element. So I have to voice that part. But yes.